Hello and welcome back to Young Climber. In today's episode, we continue to tell the untold stories of Eswatini doing great things in this space and outside of the kingdom. In today's episode, we explore creativity with Sandile Makhanya, who joins us to talk about film, cinematography, photography, and so much more. Sandile, would like to welcome you to Young Climber.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to be here.
I'm very honored to have you, and thank you so much, for making time, because I feel like you have one of the most relatable and the best stories that I've ever heard. Well, I know the story now, but we're bringing it to the youth of Eswatini, because what we aim to do is just to inspire and show Bantu Emakhaya, but there's still hope in the kingdom of Eswatini. But firstly, sonke sinelimuva and singathenza kwadi ukuthi Sandile uqhamuka before everything happened. How was your upbringing, and what role did your mom play, in nurturing your creativity?
Ngiqhamuka la eZulwini ebuka, and I was born in Babane, but I was raised in eZulwini by a single mom who did a wonderful job. I would think I am who I am, and you're saying that I have a great story to tell, and I would pay tribute to her in allowing me to be as creative as I can be, and having her support me in the impossible things that I tend to do in my life. And so that's how I grew up, and a significant role that was played in my upbringing, my mom contributed quite a lot.
And I think your brother was also a contributor, because you were fortunate enough to be gifted a whole camera. That on its own is something that's very huge. Can you take us back to that moment? Is it what sparked the creativity in you? Because that's where you started maybe realizing Guti, yati ikamera yang and daily business.
I'm that kind of a kid who never like laying around. It's either nashona langa alishona ngendes loot for tite. So ngaqala ukudlalela ngekwenza music, because on my spare time I would go play music, I would go record music and all of that. And umnaketo came back from Johannesburg at varsity, and she gave me this camera. I took it to school while he was around, before he went back. And I would take pictures and go print and come back and send it back to the people that I took pictures of. And I think that's where the dream started. And he realized, you're kind of like good on this thing, and it's making you man. You know what? I'm leaving the camera with you. And that's where my photography was born, from my older brother. And he always says, the younger ones tend to live their dreams because the older one kind of like worked hard for them. And I will give tribute to him as well. And my whole family, to be quite frank about it.
And that's a very interesting point, because I can safely say before you got into the education. So it literally laid out your path, because after that, that's when you realized this is something that I can pursue. Kufika kwakho eLimkokwini, it was after you had done a film, and all your things, your ducks were just in a row. Can you tell us about that time, and what drew you to then pursue formal education in that field? Or
yeah, I think you said it very well when you said my ducks were in a row. I think the most confusing part in that is that I never realized that my ducks were in a row. But once you start looking back, you realize, hey, God had a plan all along. And so I tend to take it easy on my way forward, that I believe that God has a plan, and I'll just adjust my wind. I just adjust my sail in the wind. In entering into this industry, we started shooting films at the early stage of high school. And that kind of like set up my career in the industry. So I started to shoot out whatever we can shoot. And from all that project, we're like, what can we fix on it? And we do another project. But it was a game. It was we just playing around. And it ended up being a career.
And now we need to talk about your time in university. Apply getting into university, was it what you thought it would be, and just the overall experience, because you were then involved in the Film Lab initiative during your university years. How was that experience, and how did it help you, shape your career going forward?
Film Lab Initiative was a school outside of school, if I can put it like that. And you just said in the previous question about did I doubt my getting into the industry? I actually wanted to be a doctor because being a doctor has a lot of money and you're not going to be poor for the rest of your life. Because I grew up very poor and I wanted a career that's going to take me out of poverty. But fortunately, God had the ducks in a row and Limkokwing was one of the most affordable schools to apply to. And I got into Limkokwing because it was $50 to apply. And my mom gave me transport. I don't remember who gave me the application fee. And that's how I got to Limkokwing. And in choosing the subject, it was easy to lean towards film and TV because I'd already done a number of things in the industry. And I'd made friends. I've met some guy through that, the small things. Can you review my work? And he would say, oh, it's amazing. I like it. Maybe fix the script. It was not amazing. It was just encouraging me to just keep on going. So the Film Lab Initiative was one of those initiatives that made me understand film and TV. There's a lot of things that we didn't do prior university that when we did it on Film Lab Initiative was you did the right things right. And it was very fortunate for me that I've done the things wrong in my playing, in my trying things out, so that when I started doing right, I know what is right and what is wrong, and what the wrong gives you and what the right gives you.
Beautiful. And I love that you mentioned the legendary Samge. What are some of the biggest lessons that you learned during your experience of, interning Naye? And why do you think that learning from those ahead is very crucial, in building our passion and building our profession? Because but you need to learn from industry professionals.
Actually, in Film Lab Initiative, it was a middle of my school years. I actually left school to attend Film Lab because it was a 3-month production time, and school was still going on at the time. I decided to go through this way and I'll come back to school. And I just came back to write the exam and I passed anyways.
Oh, luckily.
So, So learning from those ahead, I think Umguni played a pivotal role in me understanding being what a director is. The one, I told him this. The one thing that I learned from him was how to communicate with people. No matter how frustrated we are doing take number 20, the actor is still messing up his line. He would lean to his ear, like, kushu, 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 kushu. The whole car crew would not hear what he said to the guy, even if he's not happy, but he wouldn't embarrass them in front of everyone else. And the respect for the crew, respect for the craft, respect for the people who are working, was one of the greatest things that I've learned, because some directors would just snap on you and the whole environment would be hostile. And I think I learned the right lessons from the right people. God had the ducks in the row.
Definitely, definitely, because that also taught you just discipline and respect towards your work, most importantly. And I think you were fortunate enough, even though you say working with brands was purely because of word of mouth. One rewarded the other, but you've been fortunate enough to work with brands such as MTN and Standard Bank. Can I take you back to your very first gig? How did that come about? And then what was your approach, in transitioning from corporate, from the film side of things, the more entertaining side of things, to corporate content production?
Fortunately, I had worked being in cinematography in a number of projects. So I had a rough understanding of what goes down and what needs to be done. And fortunately, I had created enough connections to know the right people to work with, from sound, from production, cinematography, even casting as well. It was an overwhelming opportunity, but I'm one person who does not back out of the most challenging of opportunities. I remember Lando was the person who pushed for me to get an opportunity to shoot. Lando was the marketing manager or MTN at the time. And he said, Makhanya, I think you can do this thing. Just send a quotation. Let's see if we can work together. And we got that gig. It was the most impossible thing we've done, but we pulled it off. It was the most challenging, even today. It is the most challenging technical production I've done in the advert space. It was technically challenging. Somebody's running throughout the advert. and you have to keep it steady, and it looks good, and the story needs to come together. And we pulled it off. It is one of the most proud work I'm doing. I shot it, I think, 5 years ago, but I still present it as my portfolio today. So it has stood the test of time, and it was most challenging, but I still look at it, no, it's representing me well.
Yeah, that just goes to show that, you know, if you invest your being into your work, it'll definitely just stand the test of time, because that is what that project has done for you. You then founded Makhanya Universe. Can you tell us why you grew the company from just a passion project to a fully fledged business?
I remember I asked myself in 2010, bengisephasi isihlahla samangozi, bekustage futhi isihlahla samangozi. Siceda kushuta the second film sengibuya kuyoqedela high school, and I felt like I need to take this seriously and make it a business, and I wanted to give it a name. And I remember the names that were available and names that were inspiring. Tyler Perry Studios, Disney World.
Yeah,
like,
could have been Makhanya Studios.
Makhanya Universe is going to be. And the universe is because of how broad the services that I provided, from photography, design. So it didn't have to be a downright specific. But I just felt right for me to start a business. And it felt like it is making me money. Why not pursue it?
And a job like this, especially given the space that we are in, but any job, any job comes with its own challenges. What are some of the challenges that you had experienced during that time, and how did you manage to navigate through them and continue to scale up?
The biggest challenge is lack of consistency. So I do not know how am I going to make money next month. I do not have a retainer contract or something that is that predictable. And so you need to use your money wisely. And it is very easy for you to get lost because you feel like there's 100,000 in your bank account, not knowing that 70% of that is going to handle the cost of the production. But you feel like I have 100,000 rands in my account. You know, I got money. And so learning to manage money was the hardest lesson that I've learned. And then managing people. Those were the two most challenging business works that I had to do. Learning how to manage people, making them happy, retaining them. And the biggest challenge is the money part, because it's not predictable. So you can't retain people where you don't even know how you're going to make money on the following month. But from God's grace, you learn as you go, man. Even with the production, the technical side of things, you shoot, it does not look right. The next time you shoot, there are mistakes you're not going to do from the first one. And so you learn as you go, man. And don't be hard on yourself. You are going to mess up. So.
You've definitely, you know, been learning as you go, because you were fortunate enough, again, to be a cinematographer for Ekhaya season 1, which I do believe that that's when people started to realize the magnitude of, you know, the film industry here in the Kingdom of Eswatini, with Boomba Media, of course. What did that experience teach you, you know, just about collaboration and storytelling?
First of all, it was the first time I saw a production of that scale in the country. So it gave me hope. It's like, if he can do it, I can do it. One day it's going to happen. Number two, it was the first time I saw Standard Bank sponsoring a program in Eswatini TV of that scale, and it's a film in its own. And it opened up the possibility. It gave me hope. On top of everything, it gave me hope, and it gave me the right lessons for me to conquer the next big project that comes my way.
All right, you know, there's so much to explore in all of that, but we'll take a short commercial break. When we return, we continue to, you know, unfold the untold story of Sandile Makhanya, and of course speak about the most prominent one, which is of course your journey in Shaka iLembe, but that is only when we return. Welcome back. If you just tuned in, you are tuned in to Young Climber, and today we explore the story of a fellow Liswati who has made it into an international space, and all we can do is only celebrate this achievement. Sandile, you know, I learned that you were a part of the Shaka iLembe production. You joined them as a production coordinator. Can you just speak about how that opportunity came about and what it meant to you as a creative?
It's the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And I think it's this thing of I never back down from a challenge. It's one of those challenges that I did not back out from. And everything was saying, do not go, do not go. Because I had to abandon my company for a while to take that opportunity. And it is one of those opportunities that come once in a lifetime. And I wouldn't even pinpoint why or how I got to be part of it in that scale. But I just had an opportunity. Sandile, I would like to work with you on this one. And then come on this one. You know what, come on set for a month for you to experience. You know what, just stay for the whole production. So it is something that played out like that. I think God's hand was heavily involved in me working on Shaka iLembe. And I couldn't even pinpoint how I got there. But I know that God's hand was involved.
But I think from that, we're learning that you being proactive and just going above and beyond the assignment that you've been given rewarded all the other things that then came of it. Now, can you talk about the importance actually of being proactive and doing much more on set than you are required to do? You know, just fetching water for the executive producer, you know, can lead you to bigger grounds.
And so I agree with you. I feel like we need to appreciate the groundwork that has been done before Shaka iLembe. Because I was not exposed to the people that I was exposed to from thin air. All this work that I've been doing since the inception of Makhanya Universe set me up to answer the questions right, for them to realize we can work with this guy. He knows a thing or two. And once they started working with me, the work that I've been doing all these years gave them the confidence that, you know what, come on the production, we think you can be a useful hand. And so be prepared to do the groundwork. I think we run away from that, we seek the big opportunities instead of the groundwork that we should be doing. Me being able to deliver the audition that they asked me to, which then led to being on-set photographer. I wouldn't be a proper on-set photographer if I've never been a photographer in the country. So I had to be a good photographer in the country for me to be a good photographer for them. And every time I see them using my images, I'm like, my goodness, I am a now I can say I'm a photographer. You know, pretty much. I think the groundwork and the hand of God was the contributing factor into this whole thing.
You know, that's a very interesting story, and I think, like you said, it's one of the most rewarding for you. Now, after working with, you know, a South African production company, what kind of exposure did you have, and what growth did that bring to you that you then said, I will return to my country and, you know, make it what this is? Or were you just like, hey, let's see, I want to stick around this side for a while?
Let's say grass on the other side is not green, they just water it. And I realized that, you know what, we need to water our grass as well. For it to be a greener pastures, somebody needs to put in the work. And I genuinely love my country and I love being at home. And I think for my home to be beautiful and worth living in, I need to play my part in it as well. But what I have learned was that they water their grass very well. And the way that they've developed their industry, it is something that we are capable of doing and even better. But on top of that, it's the collaboration with so many creatives in there. I remember on the red carpet, it's because I had to interact with them every day. And being an on-set photographer, you take portraits of these actors and you have to create a relationship with them. But on a winter, and you ask them to continue to stay so that they shoot. that relationship needs to be good. And I had to do that fast and really quickly. And those relationships are last long now. It's surprising, they follow me on Instagram and shit, man. You've got so many followers and you're following me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's testament to the relationship that we've been able to create. And the relationship with the technical crews. You give me a project today that you need to be close to Shaka, I can pull it off.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Without
it is
it.
because of those relationships that were calibrated at that time.
And that is only to say that, you know, they appreciated your contribution towards the whole project. And, you know, learning your story, I realized that you're someone that is very passionate about your culture. Guba Leswati is very close to your heart, you know. And you were fortunate enough to be casted in a production where you had to portray Eswatini for what it is. You know, that could have been misinterpreted maybe because I call them Eswatini in South Africa. They could have just, you know, drawn from them, but having the original, the original Maswati be a part of the production, what did that mean for you in promoting our identity as Eswatini?
Yeah. I love who I am, man. I love my country. And the country cannot be more beautiful if we do not invest into its image and its reality as well. Because it's not about the image. It's about the life in. Are they happy? Are they comfortable? Who are they? And so, mina ngeSwati, bekunene ngeSwati, lelemtsap, angtifakanga la, ngabe kwaNkulunkulu. And I have a responsibility that I need to play in the world that this country is going to be tomorrow. There's a hand. You are here to play a part. It's either you're going to make or build, destroy or build this country. And I decided to contribute to it positively. And I would like to pass my appreciation to Bomb Production, Desiree and Mr. Angus. I think the dedication they had into bringing authentic Maswati and contributing with the country as well. Because they went to the king to ask for permission to do the Swati story. No matter how small it is, but they were that respectful to the country and the culture to get permission to do that. Mfanengosi Sicelo was one of those who played a pivotal role for that to happen. And on top of that, they did not have to have a technical crew member be part of the production. I was the only one who was technically involved, Shaka iLembe from Eswatini. They did not have to do that, but they did. And they did not have to cast them extras from Eswatini. Kwapumi bus yongele gcwele, yahamba nema extras aya South Africa. They did not have, they booked them a hotel. And they always ask me, when are we going back to Shumba? And I appreciate that. I remember watching the second episode where Eswatini was debuted. And
but sabona ngalokugitsa kuthi hayi nalama extras alakhaya. Yeah.
And I think I was very emotional. Desiree texted me after that. I told her I can't talk, I'm too emotional about it. Because the country was portrayed right. If you can look at the different tribes in that show, some are bad, but the country was shown as it is and beautiful. I loved it. It was done right.
You know, that also reignited a new appreciation of our culture. Because we just couldn't wait to see, you know, Eswatini fly high and seeing its story being told in another perspective. It was got to learn about the roots of our culture, you know. But now we talk about you as the chairman of independent producers, Lana Ekhaya Eswatini. What are some of, you know, the key challenges that we're facing as local filmmakers, and how do you feel like they can be addressed?
We need to kickstart the industry. It is existing but non-existent. A healthy industry of the creative, it says that the parastatals of the country that are in the space should be less attractive to work in than the independent space. So as a Eswatini TV employee, you should long to work at an independent producers company because it means that the industry is sustaining itself, the industry is funding itself. So we need to kickstart the industry to get to a point where it is self-sufficient and sustainable. Because I do not believe if the government could pump in 20 million and we produce one of the greatest things. If there's no sustainable strategy in how do we continue this production going forward and have it sustain itself, it is a failure on its own before it even begins. So I believe that government, the parastatals and independent producers as a whole need to come together and develop a strategy that is going to be sustainable. But most importantly, funding. Without funding, this industry is not going to get anywhere. It is not even going to try to cut food. It's funding and a sustainable strategy.
But you know, the one thing that I always hear with every industry, funding is a very important topic. But with you, you're fortunate enough to start from, we'll say your brother funded you.
I know.
We can say you started, you know, from the bottom, but now you are here. What legacy are you now hoping to leave behind here in the Kingdom of Eswatini, or just continue to portray usaphila? Because you know, we can safely say nyalo sengini bantu lesibukeki bokuthi bashape le industry to become what the upcoming, the aspiring young people wish for it to be.
Yeah. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to invest in the country and in the industry in as much as I can. And everything that I'm going to be doing is to develop the country and develop the industry for it to get to a point where it is a fully fledged industry. I might not be able to conquer everything, but everything that comes to my table, I'm going to do my due diligence to make it work. And bathi mlabanga nginikela umsebenzi bathi no waMakhanya kwendile la ngakwenda uma nowavinjwa kunaku nanaku nanaku kepha eqinisweni lonke mina wami umsebenzi ndaweni abekunene nani ndatibonela kuthi utawuba ngakanani ke kusekutawuba ngathi labadzala abangithume bafikaphi kahle kahle lo ngwe unjengokubona nje vele ngibambe yena ndawuchubeka ngimbambe kunene.
You know, there's only so much we can say after that, but ke lehlelo lokuthi sikhuthaze abantu labasha just to show them that the space is not small. There is space for each and every personality, for each and every profession, and there's always room to grow. Konalana ekhaya Eswatini. Please cela usikhuthazele nje bantu labasha ukuthi nangu Sandile Makhanya walana ekhaya Eswatini ukhonile ukuthi akhone ku-break into other spaces, but still appreciate what the kingdom has given him and continue to pour back into our very own community.
I would say kuwo konke lokufika etafuleni lakho nawo kunene usebenze ngawo onke amandla akho nawo konke longakwenda. Uma unika ithuba lekusebenta noma bekusesitolo uthi uyashanyela shanyela kwangathi une PhD ekushanyeleni. Uma ulithishela yiba lithishela kwangathi le level angeliyenzawo uma kungekho wena la kulomsebenzi lokiyo. So a success kude lendlula ukuthi utimisele nokuthi ufake amandla akho wonke kubeka inhlonipho phambili naNkulunkulu tabe sokuvula le minyango lefanele ukuthi ayivule.
There's nothing I can say after that, but nje sekukubonga Sandile for coming to sit with us. You know, I feel like we can unpack a whole lot more, but this is only the beginning. I am 100%. So glad that I got an opportunity to, you know, hear your story, and we can only hope for the best from here.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's an honor for me to be here. The story is not over yet. Yeah. We are still writing the book.
Definitely. Babule Makhaya, that was Sandile Makhanya. But you will continue to see more of him. But from myself, Tabitha Dlamini, until next time, it is good night and God bless.